But that's funny you bring that up. I was working with a doctor recently, and he was filling out a form for a carrier, and he said, "Hey, can I go ahead and fax this over to you?" I said, "Mr. So and so," I said, "I do not have a fax." I said, "I'm so sorry." But yeah, certain
We do
industries,
have a company fax if you ever need to use it, but
yeah, in certain industries, they're like that, and I think medical field is one of those as well. Where yeah, getting into that a little maybe too far, but some industries are just a little bit antiquated in their approach. And yeah, I agree with you. Our industry needs to come around more on that.
yeah. So you add into the antiquatedness of our industry, you add in these annuity salespeople that are not fully invested in the industry. They're just trying to make ends meet, and so they're really being more motivated by making a sale
Mm-hmm.
versus actually helping someone in their financial future. That's wrong, and
Yep.
I hate to hear that that actually happens still, but it is what it is. It does happen, and because of these reasons and a few more that we're going to cover in just a moment, that's why so many annuity buyers end up with something that doesn't truly serve their needs. And they aren't shopping for the best annuity. They're actually being sold the most profitable annuity sometimes in that case for the salesperson that's writing it for them. And that's something that we're very, very passionate about changing.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one element. I think what we wanted to do today was cover five key ways that this mistake happens. Where we had mentioned that the subject line of this podcast is the way that 99% of annuities um, are bought wrongly, or the mistake that 99% of annuity buyers make. Um, so let's jump into that. Number one would just be purely lack of knowledge, like we had mentioned before, where most people don't fully understand the annuities before buying one. So, as with any industry, there's industry jargon and complexities. If somebody's in the medical field, use that example again, I'm just not going to understand some of that information. So unless somebody's sitting down explaining that specific utility, its jargon, and what it's capable of doing, I'm not going to fully understand it.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I blame on the industry, right? Like every
Mm-hmm.
carrier has their own nomenclature or terminology or jargon to define a specific feature or benefit that is a universal feature or benefit in just about every other product out there in the annuity world. But yet one company calls it something and another company calls it another. That's confusing. I think there needs to be model regulation over the industry that blankets the terms and the jargon that can be used to just make it more streamlined across the product inventory, so it can help not only the consumer understand it, but it can help the advisor or the new annuity rep, right? That it can help them learn it quicker so that they can be more efficient and more effective in their meetings.
Yep. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, one that comes to mind, I know you've heard this before, is a fixed annuity or a fixed rate annuity compared to a multi-year guaranteed annuity, or its acronym. Again, we all fall into the weeds of using acronyms. MIGA. So it becomes a little bit more complex when we're using those acronyms for somebody who's outside of this industry, and it's easy for us to use it on a daily basis. Meanwhile, we might be meeting with a client for the first time who's never talked about annuities. So dropping certain jargon can be confusing. And that lack of knowledge is what we're here to fill when we're meeting with our clients, providing that transparency.
Yeah, and that's important, right? Is simplifying the understanding or lessening the learning curve. Like
Yep.
we won't use big, jargon or complex terminologies in our meetings. We're going to break it down and really reverse engineer the process in terms of what are your needs, what are your objectives and goals. If it's income, we're going to talk income annuities. If it's growth, we're going to talk growth annuities, and we're going to break it down in easy to understand terms so that the client can relate and that they can make an effective and educated decision. That's ultimately our goal, is not to sell you an annuity. It's to help you understand the annuities, which ones can help you, meet your objectives, and then take you to a point where you can now assess the marketplace because you have a good understanding of how things work and what's available. And then you can go to select and pick and choose your own products and even work with us to do the side-by-side comparison. Full transparency, yes, we make our living by placing annuity business in force. So we hope that through that process, we can build trust and earn your business. But ultimately, it's to help you make your own decision. And that's what we're all about.
Yeah. Yeah.